Welcome to Midnight Terrors, where spine-chilling tales come to life. If you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button and tap the bell for notifications. You don't want to miss a single story that'll keep you up at night. We're on a mission to grow, and your support is everything. Share these terrifying stories with your friends, family, and anyone who dares to listen. Thanks for being part of the journey. Let's begin. The world is filled with tales of haunted and cursed objects, items so malevolent that they bring misfortune, madness, and even death to those who possess them. These artifacts, often tied to dark histories and tragic fates, serve as eerie reminders that some objects are best left alone. In this chilling tale, we delve into the stories of one of the most infamous cursed items, Annabelle the Doll. Prepare yourself for a journey into the shadows where curiosity can become a dangerous obsession. It began with a gift, innocent, or so it seemed. In 1970, a young nursing student named Donna received a Raggedy Ann doll from her mother. It was meant as a gesture of love, a reminder of home, something to watch over her in the quiet, lonely nights. With its round button eyes and stitched-on smile, the doll seemed harmless enough, a soft, gentle relic of childhood placed carefully on her bed. Its fabric arms lay limp in its lap, its red yarn hair bright against the faded quilt. She named it Annabelle. But Annabelle was no ordinary toy. But there was something off, even then. At first, the changes were subtle. Donna and her roommate Angie would return home to find the doll slightly askew, a tilt of the head, an arm raised as if mid-wave. They laughed it off, attributing it to the natural settling of the doll or a trick of memory. But as days turned to weeks, the unsettling occurrences grew bolder. The doll's gaze, though painted and empty, felt wrong. Its smile was too wide, too fixed, like it knew a secret no one else did. When Donna turned away, a chill would creep up her spine, an instinctive urge to look back, to make sure the doll hadn't moved. She never caught it shifting, never saw its limbs twist or its head turn, but the feeling lingered, a parasite gnawing at reason. At night, the shadows seemed to thicken around it, a dark halo swallowing its soft edges. Sometimes Donna would wake with a start, her room steeped in silence, and find Annabelle sitting just a little differently, her cloth body slumped closer to the bed's edge, her head tilted as if listening. The doll, once a symbol of comfort, had become something else entirely, a quiet, patient presence in the room, always watching. Annabelle began to move. One morning, Donna left Annabelle sitting neatly on the bed, only to find her propped against the couch in the living room when she returned. Sometimes they would discover the doll standing upright, its soft, unstructured body defying gravity. Doors that had been closed were found ajar, and objects around the apartment seemed to shift when no one was looking. Then came the notes. Small pieces of parchment paper, scrawled with childish handwriting, appeared in the apartment. "Help us," they read. "Help Lou." Neither Donna nor Angie owned parchment paper, nor did they recognize the crude handwriting. Fear began to seep into their everyday lives, a constant chilling presence. One night, they returned home to find Annabelle waiting. She wasn't merely in a different position this time. She was drenched in red. Dark, wet stains smeared her tiny fabric hands and soaked through the delicate lace of her dress. The crimson blotches were not just splattered, but pressed into the cloth, as if the doll had been cradling something warm, something that had bled. The room was steeped in a nauseating, metallic smell, sharp and invasive. Donna's hands trembled as she reached for the light switch, but the dim glow only made it worse. Annabelle sat propped against the wall, her button eyes glistening in the half-light. Her stitched smile seemed wider, a crooked, knowing grin that twisted her face into something almost alive. A trail of red led from the doll to the kitchen, smeared in thin, trembling lines as if tiny hands had dragged something heavy across the floor. The hardwood creaked underfoot, the sound swallowed by a silence that felt wet and heavy. When they reached the kitchen, the sink was filled with water, tinted pink, and tiny childlike handprints decorated the edge, prints that matched the size of Annabelle's own cloth hands. Whatever innocence the doll once held had been drowned in blood. And in that moment, as the cold air seemed to breathe around them, they realized Annabelle wasn't just holding something, she had taken it. Desperation led them to a medium, who claimed the doll was inhabited by the spirit of a young girl named Annabelle Higgins. The child's spirit, lost and lonely, had latched onto the doll, seeking companionship. Moved by sympathy, Donna and Angie allowed the spirit to stay. But whatever occupied Annabelle was no child. Their friend Lou began experiencing vivid nightmares. In his dreams, Annabelle crawled up his body, her soft cloth hands pressing against his throat, cutting off his air. When he awoke, he found claw-like scratches on his chest, burning, fresh, too real to dismiss as a dream. The apartment transformed into a suffocating tomb where the air hung heavy and frigid, biting through layers of clothing and skin. Shadows pooled in the corners, not merely cast by the dim light but pulsing, as if they had their own shallow breath. The silence was alive, filled with whispers too faint to catch, like nails scraping just beneath the surface of reality. Annabelle's button eyes, once glassy and lifeless, now seemed to drink in the room. They followed every movement, twin voids of endless black. When no one was looking, it felt as if her head might turn, just a fraction, just enough to remind them that they were never truly alone. What began as an innocent gift had become a doorway, an open wound in the fabric of the world, seeping something old, ravenous, and cruel. Annabelle's stitched smile remained, a grotesque mockery of joy, her tattered dress stained and worn as if from ages of restless waiting. Now the doll sits behind glass in the Warrens' Occult Museum, encased but never truly contained. Crimson lettering on the glass warns, "Positively do not open." But those who visit swear they can hear it. The faintest tap against the glass, a soft rustle of fabric, and if they listen too long, the whispers begin again. Hold on tight, because you're about to enter a world of pure terror. Hit that subscribe button now and ring the bell if you dare. You wouldn't want to miss these spine-chilling updates. Think you're brave enough? Then go ahead. Choose the video on my right, or maybe the one on my left. But beware, these aren't just stories. They're nightmares that will stay with you long after the screen goes dark. Not everyone makes it through, so viewer discretion advised. Only the fearless will survive the terror waiting within.